Hey guys, I'm Richard, the regular DM. I want to talk a little bit about the Shadowdark Gauntlet that I just ran. I did a prep video on that you can check out. I'll put the link in the show notes. I want to talk about the actual gauntlet and how it went compared to how I thought it would go. So super high level. Um, I've been playing a 5e game with my family for the last year and a half. That wrapped up just about a month ago. And so I've been kind of thinking about going through Shadow Dark, just something simple with them, maybe doing some, I don't know, every like one shots every couple weeks, whatever. My daughter's pregnant. She's about to have a baby, so she's not in the mood to play. So basically, my two sons and my son-in-law are who I took through this. So we were going to have four players: my daughter and my sons and my son-in-law. She bowed out. She just wasn't up to it, and probably won't be for a while. So I did this gauntlet. So here's just some information about that. I used an adventure gauntlet called Lottery of the Lost. This is in the book Unnatural Selections by Dungeon Damsel. It's a really high quality book. But in order to use the Dungeon Damsel Unnatural Selection, you have to have this. This is the Shadowdark core rulebook. Really, really great, just amazing piece of work right here. And I expect the same quality from the Dungeon Damsel Unnatural Selection. The PDF is amazing. I highly recommend it. Really like sets the bar for third-party content creators for Shadowdark. So I took the Lottery of the Lost, which is a gauntlet adventure in that book, Unnatural Selection, and I dumped it into my Notion, which is what you see here. So in Notion, again, I'm not going to go too much into detail about what I did because that's in the other video I made, but I used the Sly Flourish Lazy DM framework to prep for that adventure. So I was going to have four players. I had three players, 16 pre-generated zero level characters. If you don't know Shadowdark Gauntlet is just a meat grinder where you just give a bunch of zero level characters to your players and they try to make it through this adventure with at least one still standing. In this case, they had three characters standing with one waiting in reserves just in case another character died. So 16 total pre-generated characters. 12 of them died through this, like, we're just going to say 10 room dungeon. It's really not 10 rooms, but 10 encounters. There was traps, there was puzzles, there was monsters, and I have to say the players did really good not having any idea what Shadowdark really was. Um, all of them. So here's my like take on how the players ended up feeling about Shadowdark. They, when it was all done, my son-in-law just thought it was like just a version of 5e, just like I had just stripped some things out, and it was kind of like a homebrew 5e game. So to him, it didn't really feel much different other than the torch timer. If you're not sure what that is, check out the core rules or get the free starter downloads from the Arcane Library. Doing stuff over there. So, three characters. They all felt it was very 5e-ish. What I feel like, if I go back and think about it, I probably in our 15-minute of session 0, right before we jumped into the gauntlet, I probably should have like really prefaced, this is a whole different rule base. This is not 5e. It has like some of the best of 5e, if you will. But it also has a lot of just OSR stuff, just a lot of that old school revival, very original D&D feel. So what I think I'm going to do next time when we do a one shot, we're just going to do first level characters. I'm going to spend some time up front going through a little more of the core rules in this book right here, and and just really help them understand what Shadowdark is. They did really good, but they still leaned on their character sheets a little too much. And these are 0 level characters, not a lot going on there. So what I was really trying to do was break them away from the page and just get them to be their characters. Like, even though they played 12, 13, 14, 15 characters, they still relied on the screen, because I used Owlbear Rodeo and the official Shadowdark character plugin for Owlbear Rodeo. So I would say if you're going to run a gauntlet with players who are 5e, D&D, Advanced 5e, Kobold Press, MCDM, I don't like saying that one. Make sure that you really take them through, like help them understand what Shadowdark is. Ultimately, it's like the rules be damned. Just play the game. Have fun. Don't be limited by what's on the page. Whatever it is you think you want to do, just friggin' do it, right? So I know we all encounter that problem everywhere with all our games, but definitely it was an issue in this game with my 5e players really trying to kind of make it feel 5e. They were wanting to apply bonuses, stat bonuses where they weren't supposed to go, and I just let them a couple of times because I didn't want to like stop in the middle of everything and explain the rules to them. So there are some things in Shadowdark that are different. You don't just get to apply your strength bonus to attack and damage and other things like that. So if you're going to do Shadowdark, if you're going to take your players through Shadowdark, make sure that you spend time with them to really help them understand what Shadowdark is, what the similarities are to 5e, and what the differences are. I think that'll be really helpful. And probably spend a little more time than I did, probably less than 15 minutes in a session 0, like help them wrap their brains around what Shadowdark is and what the differences are going to be. And then when you add something like Lottery of the Lost, third-party content creator, into the mix, again, completely is in line with Shadowdark and the Shadowdark RPG core rules. It's just you're adding all these elements and components to players who aren't quite ready. So I don't want to yeah. Anyways, I don't want to stay on that too long. It was a great game. I had a lot of fun taking them through. I was using the soundtrack from Hunger Games, from the first Hunger Games movie. And so anytime one of the players would die, I would put on the music. Very fun. They were laughing every time. I had the two main NPC creatures, Klosh and Skeetle. Klosh was just this very like kind of sniveling, oh, look at them, oh, look at what they did there. And Skeetle was like this very MMA, WWE, whatever, worldwide wrestling person, announcer, right? So Klosh would be like, oh, look at what they did there. And Skeetle would be like, oh my God, did you see what happened? And every time I would break into that, they were having so much fun. It was just a blast. So they really did enjoy that. They loved getting some of the gear and being able to use some things, like they just picked up a wand of magic missiles and were able to use it until they weren't. and some just different weapons and armor and stuff. So overall, their experience was really good. Here's my question to those of you that have played Shadowdark. Um, I was keeping track of everything in Notion. Next time, I think I'm going to print stuff out and really be very much more pen and paper. I was tracking rounds like this. Each player and myself would take our turn, and then I'd mark off the round, and then I'd do that again and again and again and again. So I was able to, keep track of rounds, and then I also had the players keeping track of their stuff, their death, whatever it's called. I can't remember right now because I'm still just learning all the stuff from Shadowdark. So keeping track of their death rounds, their torch timer. They didn't have any spells, so they didn't have to keep track of any spell stuff. So it seemed to work out pretty good. We'd get up and from the table a lot. So I'd make sure to remind them, hey, pause your timer. Hey, start your timer. And that was great. But tell me about your experience. What have you seen either in a gauntlet or in just a regular one-shot adventure or your campaigns? What are some tips and tricks you have to share with other people? Because again, I'm just Richard, the regular DM. I don't have a lot to give. I'm not a professional. I just like to share what I do and what I know, and that's not a lot. So again, please leave your comments, questions, additions, deletions down there in the comment section. Be kind. I say things wrong. I do things wrong. I know that. And so, by all means, correct me, give me some advice, but do it in a way that you would like to receive it as well. All right. So, hey, I appreciate you watching, and I hope you continue just supporting my channel. Thanks so much. Bye.